What happens when a soulful singer sits across from one of television's most outspoken hosts and the conversation takes a turn nobody saw coming? What began as a simple promotional appearance for Teddy Swims on The View quickly unraveled into one of the most uncomfortable moments in daytime television history. The tension grew so thick you could cut it with a knife. And by the end, Teddy was walking off the set, leaving Joy Behar speechless and the audience in stunned silence. The studio lights blazed as Teddy Swims, real name Jayton Dimsdale, settled into the hot seat. His latest album was climbing the charts, and the plan was to plug the record, maybe charm the hosts, and move on. But Joy Behar, with her trademark smirk and sharp tongue, had something else in mind. "Your music has this raw, emotional quality," she began. "Tell me, is that authenticity something you have to work at, or does it just come naturally?" Teddy shifted in his chair, his tattooed hands resting on his knees. "Authenticity isn't something you can fake. My music comes from personal experiences, struggles I've been through, things that shaped me." "Personal experiences," Joy repeated, eyebrows raised. "I was reading about your background. It's quite a journey from small-town Georgia to the big stage. But let me ask you this. In today's music industry, don't you think artists sometimes manufacture these stories of struggle to seem more relatable?" The question landed heavy. Teddy's face didn't change much, but something in his demeanor shifted. "I'm sorry, are you suggesting my experiences aren't genuine?" "Oh, I'm not suggesting anything about you specifically," Joy said, waving her hand. "I just mean the industry loves a good rags-to-riches story. Sometimes those narratives get enhanced." "Enhanced," Teddy repeated slowly, his jaw tightening. "With all due respect, I don't think you realize what you're implying." Whoopi Goldberg, sensing trouble, tried to lighten the mood with a quick quip, but Joy wasn't letting go. "Look, I'm not attacking you," she pressed. "But you have to admit there's a formula to these stories. The struggles, the breakthrough, the emotional connection. It's almost a template." "A template?" Teddy leaned forward, his voice hardening. "You're seriously telling me the years I spent working construction, playing dive bars for 20 people, sleeping in my car, are you calling that a template?" "I'm just saying—" "No, let me finish," Teddy interrupted, his tone cutting. "You want to talk about templates? Let's talk about talk show hosts who minimize real experiences because they've never had to wonder where their next meal was coming from." The audience fell silent. Joy flushed but kept her ground. "Excuse me, I've had my share of struggles. I didn't just fall into this career." "I'm sure you've had challenges," Teddy replied, his southern drawl sharpening with emotion. "But questioning whether my story is real, that's not just insulting to me. It's insulting to everyone who's ever had to fight for something." Sarah Haynes tried to pivot to Teddy's tour dates, but the atmosphere was already scorched. "Maybe you're being a little too sensitive," Joy jabbed. "This is television. We ask tough questions. If you can't handle that, maybe you're not ready for this level of success." The words hit like a slap. Teddy's hands gripped the chair arms. "Too sensitive?" he said, his voice quiet but thundering through the studio. "Lady, you've spent the last 5 minutes questioning my integrity, my authenticity, my life story, and now you're telling me I'm too sensitive for calling you out? You want to know what's not authentic?" he continued, his voice rising. "Sitting behind that desk making 6 figures to tear down people who've actually lived through something. The template isn't artists. It's privileged media personalities psychoanalyzing lives they don't understand." Joy's mouth dropped open. "Now wait just a minute." "No, you wait." Teddy shot to his feet, startling the cameras. "I came here to talk about music. Instead, you turned this into a gotcha moment." Whoopi tried to calm things. Joy leaned forward, refusing to yield. "You're acting like a child. This is what interviews are. We dig deeper. If you can't handle that, don't do interviews? A child?" Teddy's disbelief cracked through his accent. "You know what's childish? Sitting there smug, acting like you've got me figured out when you don't know the first thing about me." Sonny Hostin fiddled nervously with her notes. Alyssa Farrah Griffin looked like she wanted to vanish. The audience stared, captivated. "I know enough," Joy retorted. "Every singer has the same story. Tough childhood, big dreams, breakthrough moment. It's all media training. That was the last straw." Teddy stepped closer to the desk, fists clenched. "Media training? Sleeping in my car between gigs was media training? Working double shifts to pay for studio time was an act? Now, I think, Joy began, but Teddy cut her off with a cold stare. You know what I think? You're so disconnected from reality you can't recognize authenticity when it's in front of you. You've lived in a bubble so long you've forgotten what it means to struggle. How dare you make assumptions about my life? Joy started. That's rich, Teddy snapped. You've spent 10 minutes making assumptions about mine. At least my assumptions are based on how you're treating me right now. The studio was suffocating with tension. Even the crew seemed frozen. Sarah tried again to pivot, but Teddy waved it off. I appreciate you, Sarah, but we're past that. He turned to Joy. Here's what's going to happen. I'll finish what I came here to say, then I'll leave. And you're going to sit and listen. This is my show, Joy bristled. Actually, it's theirs too, Teddy said, gesturing to the other hosts. He steadied himself. I grew up in a town where Friday night football was the big event. My dad worked in a factory. My mom cleaned houses. No lessons, no connections. Everything I learned, I taught myself. At 22, I was broke, singing in bars where nobody cared, scraping by on dreams and stubbornness. No safety net, no trust fund. Just me. The room was silent. Even Joy sat still, caught by the weight of his voice. So when you question whether my story is real, you insult everyone who's ever chosen between rent and chasing their dream. Whoopi nodded, clearly moved. Joy opened her mouth again, but Teddy cut her off with weary finality. Your job should be conversations, not tearing people down. But clearly we define that differently. He looked into the camera. To the viewers, I'm sorry. You tuned in for music, not a circus. I didn't come here for this. He turned back to Joy. I've met real people in this industry, genuine, fake, in between. But I've never met someone so determined to diminish others just to feel important. That's not journalism. That's just sad. Joy sat speechless. Teddy unclipped his mic, a quiet but seismic gesture. You know the difference between us, Joy? When I fail alone. When you fail, you drag others down with you. You can't just walk out, Joy started. Watch me, Teddy said. 2 words, replayed endlessly online. He headed for the edge of the set. This is exactly what I mean, Joy shouted after him. You can't handle pushback, so you storm off. That's not authentic, Teddy stopped, back still to her. You know what's authentic? Knowing when someone isn't worth your time. He let it hang. I hope this was worth it, because now everyone knows exactly who you are, the audience murmured, some siding with Teddy, some just stunned. Joy stood, unable to let go. So now I'm the villain because I asked tough questions? That's what's wrong with your generation. You think everyone should tell you how wonderful you are. Teddy spun around, eyes blazing. My generation? We're working 3 jobs just to pay rent, living in a collapsing world, trying to find meaning in the chaos. We don't need people to tell us we're wonderful. We need people to stop tearing us down for sport. Joy tried to respond, but Teddy raised his hand. I'm done. Done with this conversation, done with your attitude, done pretending this is journalism. He looked into the camera one last time. For anyone watching who's been told their dreams aren't real, their struggles don't matter, their story isn't worth telling, don't let anyone make you feel small. Your experiences are valid. Your voice matters. You don't owe anyone an explanation for who you are. With that, he walked off the set. Joy sputtered, trying to recover. Well, that was unexpected. I guess some people just can't handle, maybe we should go to commercial. Whoopi cut in, firm. But the damage was done. In under 15 minutes, what should have been a routine interview turned into a viral storm dissected across social media for weeks. Viewers were left with the image of Teddy's empty chair and a panel of stunned hosts, while Joy struggled to regain composure. The clash wasn't just a spat. It became a symbol. The disconnect between old-school media figures and the artists they claim to represent. A reminder that behind every success story is a real person with real scars. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is simply walk away. So what do you think? Was Teddy right to leave? Or should he have stayed and fought it out? Drop your thoughts below and make sure to subscribe, because this story was only the beginning.